Okay, hey guys, sorry, we are figuring out some tech difficulties right now because this live stream thing is a little bit confusing to me, so sorry about that. I need to go post the link into the other chat real quick, so we're just 1 minute for a few people to come over. Stop talking. So just give us 1 second. Moved over here. Sorry. Okay. Live chat here. Okay. We are here. It looks like some people are coming over. Great. Welcome, guys. Sorry that it was a bit of a cluster getting started. Plus, I think we might have mentioned the wrong time. I don't even know if that's true. So I think I might have said 8, but I meant 8:30. Anyway, sorry about that. Who do we got? Maggie, Acid, Frost, Richie, Art, and Bree, Micah, Lisa E.
Behave yourself, Micah.
Yeah, otherwise Lisa E is going to moderate your ass. Vicky, Lisa C, Ashley, Brittany. I'm not catching everyone, but hey, welcome, guys. Okay, so a little bit about what we're doing here tonight. Why live streams? The last live stream was really fun for me. And basically making videos is a bit of a lonely endeavor in terms of like, it just feels like we're talking as piece of glass camera. And then sometimes the comments help, but the comments come like a week after we make them and it doesn't feel very interactive. So really my heart is to connect with people. Mm-hmm. And this feels like the most people-like connection that we can have for online for now.
Yeah, it's kind of like FaceTime, except for you just see our faces.
And I would actually really like to figure it out so that we can do video chat with people. And
oh yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you're watching this not live, you can follow along with the comments in the replay. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be starting off with 3 topics that you guys voted in the Facebook page. Sorry, we're dealing with parenting distractions. So this morning I posted Facebook comments, and I thought maybe we'll just do that from now on, is do these like the, I don't know, I thought for the comments to this video, not the live comments that you guys are leaving now, but after this video is done, you guys could leave 3 topics or topics, and then the top 3 voted ones are just the ones we'll talk about next week. So how I envision this going is we'll spend 15 minutes on each topic, maybe 5 minutes us talking and just sharing like a conversation starter. Mm-hmm. And then we'll read comments and answer questions about that topic. So there's 2 ways you guys can help. One is if you're watching this on replay, you can leave a comment that has the time code so people can just like skip to what's interesting to them, because some people don't like to watch.
So you're asking someone to post that?
Yeah, but not now.
Not now.
The second thing is if you guys could stay on topic, meaning post questions for or comments for the specific topic that we're talking about at this 15 minutes. And then the last 15 minutes, we'll do just like a general Q&A or general commentary.
Miscellaneous,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah. We got our tea.
Cool. Man, I was so tired. Okay, let's just see who else is here while we're here. Oh, George, my buddy George is here. Who else? Randy, read the language. Welcome, guys. Cool. Glad you guys could join us on this. Whatever. Man, 115 people. That's so good. What?
So Dreadlocks is like, easy, George. Dreadlocks is keeping George in line.
George likes it if Cammie says it. We'll just have Cammie say everything. Okay, so the first question, Kayla on Facebook today asked, how do you two tackle disagreements when both of you have polar opposite points of view? Okay, so we got 5 minutes. We got to keep on track. We're starting 5 minutes late. So I'm setting a timer though, so we stay on target here. I'm giving us 15 minutes for this topic. On your marks, get set, go. All right, Cami.
How do you tackle disagreements?
If you want me to start, I can start.
Yeah, it usually helps if you start.
Otherwise, Cami's like,
I'm a slower processor.
You guys have no idea how much editing goes on to get her.
Here we go. You want to talk about marital disagreement? Well, you got one right now.
Let's illustrate for them. Okay, so I think there's two things that come to my mind right away. One is
George, I love Cami.
Yeah, we know. We know. Like, okay, so Cami and I were talking about, I don't know if you guys have heard of the work of, what the heck is his name right now? Crap. The guy from UW.
Gottman?
Yes, John Gottman.
John Gottman.
So basically, and this is in a Malcolm Gladwell book called Blink. It's like crazy because we grew up in Washington and he's like a psychologist, counseling guy. And basically, like in this book called Blink, they showed how within by studying this couple, they could tell with 80% or 90% certainty whether or not they'd be married in 10 years. And they actually, I think, boiled it down to they could look at them for 10 seconds and they had sensors under their ass. Everywhere. They had heart monitors, pulse monitors, and cameras on their eyes and studying body language and tone of voice and all these things.
Anything.
And basically, based on 10 seconds of data, they could predict with 90% accuracy if you'd be married in 10 years. So where am I going with that? The number one factor that they concluded would make a marriage be doomed was I think it was phrased disdain. So it was when someone would roll their eyes when the other person was talking. And it basically, what I took away from that is it meant disrespecting your partner or the other person or looking down upon them.
I also think it means you think that your viewpoint and your opinion is more right or is more important than the other person's. And I think that's key to tackling a disagreement which is hard. It's really hard. But if you can try to put your emotion aside for a moment and say, okay, whatever his opinion is just as important as mine.
They want to know what the sign says.
Embrace the suck in marriage.
Yeah. So if you reverse that, if what causes divorce, the singular biggest thing is disdain or lack of respect or not looking at the other person as an equal, then I think the biggest thing that's changed in our marriage, or the most helpful thing, is for me to see Cami, but not just Cami, every single one of her views, and that's where it gets tricky, as just as valid as any one of my particular views, which is real. I mean, that's easy to say now, especially with George in the chat, but that's really
for your personality.
That's really hard.
Yeah. And I think for my personality, and maybe just for anyone's personality, really, I think you feel the less confidence you have in yourself and in your, I don't know, I know this is a played card a lot, but your self-esteem actually, I think, dictates a lot of how you will react to something. So if I feel like I have to fluff my feathers up more to prove to myself, not just to you, but to myself, my worth, then I'm gonna put you down. Even if I'm not directly putting you down. And my personality is a little more probably sneaky about that. But
and what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, the other thing, I like the way this question is phrased because it says, how do you tackle disagreements when both of you have almost polar opposite points of view? I think it's possible to see polar opposite points of view as a liability, as something that's a real pain in the ass and makes relationships difficult and impossible and lame. But we've come to believe that it's the different points of view with not just each other, but even with you guys, in the chat box, and you guys, the viewers. It's so weird to me how many people start off their comment with, I don't believe everything you believe, as if that's the requirement, as if we need to be the same. And to me, I think what makes our family great is the fact that everyone is different. And Cammie and I see things from completely different perspectives. So when we come to a decision that we have to make, we have 2 vantage points instead of 1. It's just like, I don't know if you guys have seen, that depth perception thing where, it's really hard to play sports if you only have one eye, because you don't have 2 perspectives. You only have one.
Mm-hmm. I think if you believe, especially in a marriage, but really in any relationship, but if you believe someone has nothing to teach you, that, they're nothing to listen to, then I don't think you can come to that person with 2 different points of view and really respect their point of view.
Okay, so thanks for that question, Kayla. I'd love to hear if you guys have any comments or questions about disagreements in marriage or in partnerships or relationships in general. I think is fine. Kayla says, you guys have helped me through so many bad days, and I'm so thankful for that. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sharing your lives with us. You are welcome.
That's cool.
Norma says, how do you propose to someone you've been with for 8 years? Where's that question go? When you think they might say no?
Oh, dang. Well,
I think you just do it. I mean, I've never done it before, but it's either you do it or you always wonder what would have happened if you would have done it, right? I mean, I don't know. Don't listen to me, by the way. I don't actually know what I'm talking about.
It's a hard one.
Kara says, hey guys from Australia, I'm 19. You guys have inspired me to hike the AT. That's cool. Okay, our comments kind of. So read the language says, my partner was raised with parents who didn't respect his point of view. And so something I've been working on is active listening to him and encouraging him to share his point of view with me. I think that can be
That's really cool.
Really valuable is, telling the other person. I think for me, I have more of a value. I don't know about in everything, but in some things I see more of a value in myself. Like I think certain things I believe are valuable, but then I also see it in Cammie, and I'm like, man, I want you to play the guitar more because I think it's so cool. And I want you to, I'm a lot of the time when she vlogs, I'm the person that says, hey, take the camera and talk about this. Because I think what your thoughts are here, people would really value from.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to be able to spot
I can
value.
really relate to Read the Language, You Dream's partner in how he grew up.
Did Cammie have to push for her ideas? How did you start to respect her views? That's from That Old Biddy. That's a great question. First of all, Cammie is spelled with a K, and Cammie gets very upset. She doesn't show it, but she's about ready to rage right now. If you saw
I've gotten over it a little bit more.
But man, that is a great question. I think she did start to speak up, and that made me respect her. But also, we did a vlog recently on the Enneagram, or some of you guys are familiar with Myers-Briggs, or there's a lot of personality tests out there. And that was really helpful for me, especially in my, let's just say 20s, because it was one of the first things that showed me that people can be different and still, like, they're not like me, but they're still valuable. And I know that's a weird thing to say for some people.
Well, there's actually personalities where their default is not to push their views. And it's actually an asset and a liability, like anything is. And so for me, I think that is more my default. And so I have learned to decide, okay, if this actually really, really matters to me, then I should push it. And I've had to figure out which ones. But for Ben, I think he pushes. It doesn't take a ton of energy for you to just push a lot of your opinions. For me, it takes a lot more energy. And so it's just, we're really different that way.
Caitlin is asking, can you guys do a marriage advice video? I'm getting married. Dang it, this chat, it keeps on like skipping around. I'm getting married in June, and I would love your viewpoint on things. Congratulations, 1. 2, probably not. Because, like, I don't know what we would say. And I don't think there's any advice that applies to everyone.
Advice used to be our thing, but now we feel like it's not super helpful on a platform like this. It's not even really super helpful usually in real life. I mean, unless the person's like really, really wanting it.
EMG, we have plenty of time. We have 5 minutes. EMG Gur says, after 31 years, there have been plenty of disagreements. Sheer commitment has kept the two of us together more than our ability to talk to one another. Now, I see that, and I'm not familiar with your relationship, but for us, I think we came from like a spiritual background where more than marriage or health, it was like they celebrated like non-divorce. We've been joking about this recently, where it's like, congratulations, I've been non-divorced for 50 years.
Yeah.
As if like, because the whole goal was just like not to get a divorce.
Your marriage sucks, but at least I didn't get a divorce.
Yeah. And I'd rather have an environment of health. And I don't think marriage just equals health, but I'm not trying to discount what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Do you guys fight in front of your kids? Says Olivia King. Yes. What?
Dove just said, yep, in her Donald Duck voice.
Yeah. I'm fine with fighting in front of them because I also think that the makeup process, we're transparent with that too. And I'd rather them see, we just don't have the energy to hide it either. Is B says, was it hard in the beginning? Yes.
Very.
My first, well, on our honeymoon, Cami said she wished she wouldn't have got married.
Yeah, I spent probably half of the honeymoon crying. And you spent, at least 1 or 2 nights sleeping in a different bed.
Old Biddy apologizes and spells it with a K this time.
Oh, that's all right.
All is good. Okay, Maddie Pearl says, have you ever been in a partnership where the other person was confined by a seemingly irrational fear of hurting you? How do you respect someone withholding intimacy because of a fear you don't understand? I love this question. Okay, I want to try and answer it. Hopefully I understand it. But the way I understand this question is like, how do you get someone to believe something, basically? In this case, they're saying, well, they're doing it for you. They're withholding intimacy because they don't want to hurt you.
But really, maybe underneath that is a fear.
Or they're doing it for themselves, but they're packaging it as if they're doing it for you. And all I've found that you can do in that scenario is to reinforce and to say, my preference is that you would be more intimate. And they can respect that, or they can not respect that. And maybe it's something they're not able to do at that time, or maybe they are. But by reinforcing it, you're getting them to own their decision and say that they're doing it for them at least, instead of doing it for you. Heidi has our postcard on the fridge. Oh, good. Man, those, what are they called? Strombolis. I still remember that night.
Okay. Enneagram, whatever our types. I'm a 9, Ben's an 8.
David says, I appreciate you guys. See each other's.
You lost it.
This thing like jumps up and down. I appreciate you guys see each other's personalities. I'm a quieter person. My wife is stronger, and it works perfectly when you can see their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, it's totally different strengths and weaknesses for
but every personality has
them.
Every personality has
so if you're applying what is a weakness to you to the other person and holding them to that standard, that's, I think we did that a lot in our earlier marriage.
Not really gonna go over very well.
My boyfriend was raised that he can show feelings, and that the woman cooks, cleans, cares for kids while I sleep, play on Xbox. And I was raised where both parents help with it all. That's what Trisha says. Yeah, I mean, I think that's not unusual. I think we all maybe have certain roles that we might have in our minds
that we take into our relationships.
But what we've learned is you can't force anyone else to change, but you don't have to live into those stereotypes. And by treating your boyfriend as an equal and treating yourself as an equal even, and saying, I'm not willing to be your bitch and do all these things. And this goes for boy or girl. I'm not using bitch in a female sense.
Right.
I'm using it in the sophisticated sense. Then you actually cause the other person to raise in maturity and health levels instead of acting like their mom, or something. I don't know. Allison says, how do you deal with disagreement when your kids are present? Do they see marriage battles? My parents never fought in front of his kids, and I wish I saw how couples, I think we already answered that. Ashley says, me and my husband have opposite personalities, and we have to have many conversations when we disagree until we either agree on a side or make a compromise.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're okay more than ever too, like agreeing to disagree. I used to feel like that was time's up. I used to feel like that was a compromise in marriage, and now I'm just like.
Well, and I think to go back to the kids seeing us disagree, I actually think when the belief behind not wanting to show your kids your disagreements, I think for me, a lot of it had to do with that I thought I had to be perfect, like this perfect example for my kids in order to be a good parent. And I don't believe that anymore. So I can yell at you.
Okay, I really want to answer this last question because I think it's so much fun, and then we got to move on. Allie says, what are your top 3 tips to listen to your partner? I'm go, go, go. My boyfriend is slower to process like Cammie, and I sometimes overpower him because I go so quickly. That's a great observation. One thing that we learned and practiced early on was it was like this practice, like I don't know what to call it, where like I would say, I'm feeling blank. Mm-hmm. And then basically you work it out, and she's not allowed to interrupt me until she says, okay, what she might say pause, and then she might recount what I'm saying if it's like really long. And then, but at the end she says, do you have to say anything else? And I would say, until I say no, I get to keep on talking. Then at the end, this partner, Cammie in this case, would say, what I hear you saying is A, B, C, and D. Is there anything else? And basically you don't move on until the other person feels heard. And then we switch roles. So basically what we've seen happen with us is a lot of times it's just so much easier to be obsessed with trying to talk instead of listen. Yeah. And really the fight is probably resolved when both people feel heard oftentimes. Mm-hmm. So hope that helps. Okay, guys, cool. That was that topic. And we obviously were not able to get to all the questions. So maybe some of these could move into the comment section afterwards, but thank you. Yeah. Okay. The second topic, man, these are so quick. I feel like we could talk about this the entire time.
Yeah, we have 3 topics.
But that's the thing, you know.
They're big ones, especially
this is social media world. Okay, mental health. Rose and Adam brought up this topic on the Facebook group, and they said they wanted to talk about mental health and the shame associated with it. Mm. Rose wanted to talk about mental health in the woods, but I don't really feel like I have much to say about that. But shame in regards to mental health.
Yeah. That's a big one. I mean, we've never dealt with mental health directly. I mean, actually a little bit. I had some depression episode like 10 years ago, but we've dealt with some of it within our extended family. And the thing I've noticed about mental health is people have a hard time seeing it as a sickness or seeing it as not that person's choice to be sick. Like it's different than people see it differently. A lot of people see it differently as like cancer, or like if your leg gets chopped off or broken.
But when it's internal, it seems like it's optional.
Yeah, or it's tied so much to their personality and to their emotions. That I think and it's hidden too. You can't like see it.
Yeah.
So there's not like a recognition there.
And I think this might be helpful to draw this clarification. We're not obviously psychologists, and I don't have any expertise in either depression or.
Don't forget the timer.
Oh, it's gone.
You put another timer.
It's gone.
I was like,
oh, it is gone, people.
we got it going.
So we're not really experts in manic, bipolar, or anything like that. But I think what you're saying applies to all emotions across the board.
Yeah.
So even like emotional, I don't know if I'd call it instability or unhealth or difficulty or however you identify.
Right.
I mean, I know for you, you would be
Mm.
crying like the first 5 years of our marriage or when we were dating. And I'd be like, stop crying. Like, why are you crying? As if you had that choice, you know, because I didn't understand it.
Or as if it was bad that I was crying.
Yes, either of those things.
Right.
So even I wouldn't call that mental disability, but I was treating it. It might as well have been.
Yeah.
But I thought it was optional. Like I thought you could just stop crying because crying wasn't something I did. I don't know how this fits, but this is one of my favorite stories nowadays. And it has to do with a family member I have who was traumatized as a child. Like, I mean, the stories are actually pretty sickening. And I'm not going to get into it, but she grew up and had multiple personality disorder. So she would be pushing a cart in the grocery store, and there'd be things in the cart, and she wouldn't know how they got there because she had put them in when she was like in a different personality. And for me, growing up, having not understood that or dealt with that and being in religious environments, I think I thought, oh, that was like a sign of weakness, or that was something that you could either resolve with hard work, prayer, or some sort of like, probably not drugs, but just like mental strength. Mm-hmm. And a number of things have caused me to conclude, to see a different perspective. And that was, there's basically this principle that says, if you can't find meaning in this reality, in true reality, you'll create an alternate reality. And, I used to, once again, even see that as a negative thing. But when I consider what the alternative was, like for my cousin, a lot of people in her situation would commit suicide because of how she was treated. Like her life was so bad. Her self-worth was so neglected. She was so abused. The pain levels were so high. For a lot of people, it makes more sense to them to exit this reality altogether through suicide. But my cousin, our brains are so well designed or developed that they created a workaround so they didn't have to deal with this pain, but she also didn't have to commit suicide. And her brain split so she could create multiple things, multiple realities.
So it gives her a sense of relief.
Yes, and an ability to function and live in this life for a while longer. And when I saw it that way, I was like, damn, like, that's really cool that your brain did that and that you're still alive instead of dead. And I think it's kind of like an asshole belief for me to be sitting up there being like, well, you should be this healthy instead of this healthy. And that's just kind of how I feel about, mental health is a big one because I see someone commenting about autism, and there's probably things that people are born with, and I don't understand how it all works. And I'm not trying to claim to understand it, but I guess what I've come to see is if we're looking down on people with mental disabilities, there's another way to see it that I think has at least been more helpful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, questions or comments, or did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
Nope.
I don't have a lot to say about mental health. It's not like something I feel really that qualified to. Don't know much about it. Mm-hmm. So Christy says people act as if people who have mental health struggles are weak. Yep. Mm-hmm. Aya says I'm 16 years old in high school, and it's really annoying how kids my age think it's trendy to have depression, anxiety. Yeah, I could see how that would be.
It could be trivializing something actually really serious. If they actually don't have it.
But we've also learned, especially with toddlers, to be careful about not ruling out people's feelings, even if it's not like a clinical diagnosis. Like, it's easy with Rainier, who's 2 or 3 now. He could be throwing a temper tantrum, and someone might say, "Oh, he's just trying to get attention," and kind of dismiss that. And now we've learned, yeah, he is trying to get attention, and all humans actually want attention. And I don't want to trivialize his kind of call for help. So I don't know what to say about that besides that. M. Gear says, I think most people are uncomfortable with mental illness issues. It's because they have no idea how to respond to, what to say, or how to help. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I was thinking as I was preparing today, I forgot to mention this, but even how we call it, we call it mental health, sickness, or disability. Like even the term homelessness, it's kind of weird because it's
a stigma.
Well,
someone.
It's creating the terms based upon what I have and you don't.
Oh, yeah.
As if like what makes humans is a home,
Yeah.
and therefore you're homeless. I mean, like you could have so many labels for something, being a man, a boy, a girl, like, a human, but instead we define them by this one position they don't have. Mm-hmm. And I think brain usage, it's unfortunate that takes on that big of a whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, George says some families are lucky enough to have proper medical insurance to cover mental health. I wish all people did. Joyce says mental health issues is an illness and needs treatment as much as the flu or cold. Lisa says, I notice mental health is not taboo.
Lily.
Oh, sorry, Lily. Where'd that go?
Right there.
I notice mental health issue is not taboo. It is just so common. It isn't seen as a problem like you have depression and anxiety. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. I still think, though, there's some like bipolar and multiple personality disorder that people get freaked out by. Because that's not, it's common, but it's not like depression common.
Oh, that's interesting. Star Cream Live says, sounds like Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5, where the narrator creates a world filled with aliens that cope with all the trauma he saw during World War II. Sherry says, comment on the general mental health of the AT through hiker you encountered. I can't speak to the mental health of the through hikers. I mean, it seemed like a pretty average.
A lot of people, I think, were there to escape something.
Or find something.
Which, yeah. Who isn't doing that?
George says a country as rich as ours should never have homeless people, which to me implies that it's a financial issue, which I don't think it is. That's to me another topic with a much deeper discussion. Mm-hmm. Julie says, I was in a church that led us to believe that depression, mental weakness of any kind was something that could be prayed away, or that our faith wasn't strong enough. Have learned that's a wrong belief. Yeah, I think that's a really damaging belief, actually.
Because what happens if it doesn't go away?
And it kind of creates this us and them mentality where those that don't have mental issues in the same way. Yeah, we're seen as more godly, or like we've put more effort in, or like, we're somehow stronger or something like that. Man, I think that's a really destructive belief. I'm glad you mentioned that. Mm-hmm. Do you want to read some of these? I'm getting tired of reading.
Allison says, did you feel a shift in your own mental health or notice any in your children while hiking the AT? I felt like I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like my memories of it at this point served to help me in that way, but okay, where am I? Okay.
Let's go here.
Leah asks, can you guys talk about 12 steps? I assume it's not for alcoholism recovery since you indulge sometimes, but I've never heard of people going to meetings for reasons other than alcohol, drug addiction.
The one I went to centered around sex addiction, because that was a helpful term for me that was helpful for me for that time period. But just the ethos of like a recovery group or 12-step group was based upon the premise that we like kind of need each other and want help. Whereas like the spiritual communities I was raised in always kind of had this aura of like, we're like 95% perfect, and we come to church services to like tweak the 5% or add on the frosting or the gravy, or, it was like, we're all basically like fine. Yeah. And 12-step groups were like, if I'm not here, I'm going to die. There was a sense of desperation that was really refreshing to me.
And you're not going to fix someone else either. You're there for yourself. And I think so we do these meetings with our family because we have found that environment, that cultivated environment really helps people to just be able to say what you're struggling with without any, what they call it cross talk, without any feedback, basically. Just people listening.
Randy says, I believe being on the trail changes your mind for the better. It changes you. I do think it changes you, just because I feel like any hard thing changes you. But I guess
perspective. Yeah.
I guess I'd be interested in hearing about why you think the trail might specifically change you. It's kind of weird now. Like, you'd think it'd be like getting away from the rat race, but in some ways, because the whole thing has like basically Wi-Fi and data, you can be kind of in the rat race there too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's walking and it's exercise.
I think it did give us a shift in perspective because so many crazy things happened to us that wouldn't have happened at home. Okay, where are we here? Lily.
This David.
David, your idea of the 12 group ethos has really opened my mind. I have always wanted Christian communities to be a place where you can go and just say, I'm struggling.
Yeah, we haven't really found that much in other places.
Yeah.
So we have a 12-step meeting. Maybe that's where you guys heard about this from, but with our family every week. And it's just a place where people can share exactly how they feel and where they're at right now. Mm-hmm. And no one else, it's called crosstalk. There's no crosstalk. Like, so if Cami says, I'm having a hard time today, like in our experience in spiritual community, someone would be like, oh, well, read this book or let me pray for you. Basically, let me fix you instead of let me just accept the way things are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then by sharing my story, that's the best thing I have to offer you instead of trying to jump all into your story.
If everyone's sharing their struggles, it provides a more safe environment to share, I think. Okay.
Let me see where we're at here. We have 55 seconds. I'm done with this mental health, honestly. Okay. Even though we have 49 seconds, but we started late. So, okay, cancel, reset the timer. Last topic. Rob says in Facebook, everybody wants real heavy stuff. How about some info on your cool tattoos?
Sure. Why not?
You gonna go first? Yeah, I'm gonna go first.
Be a lot easier if this was summertime. But okay, sure.
You taking out your clothes?
Oh, I thought we were showing them. No, okay, never mind.
So
you're just gonna have to wait for summertime to see our tats, but maybe you've already seen them. But this shoulder had a giant oak tree. That it's significant to me. It's less significant to me now than it was when I got it, but I still think it looks badass, and I really like trees. So there you go. I'm not going to talk about it. So then this shoulder has a...
Holy crap, are you going through everyone?
I'll just do these two. Okay. A butterfly. I only have like 4. You're the one who has like 20. This is like a butterfly coming out of its chrysalis. This still has a ton of significance for me. Because someone kind of spoke to me many years ago and kind of just talked about what might happen in the future. And so this, and I feel like it kind of came true. So it's kind of really, it reminds me of my metamorphosis change that I'm still on, but I've changed a ton in the last couple of years. And when I think of a blue, beautiful butterfly, I think of just boldness. And I think that that's something that has happened to me. I've become more bold and more confident in who I am. Your turn.
Emger says, never liked tattoos. Mary says, do you regret any tattoos you've gotten? So I'm going to share my take on this, and then we'll get into some Q&A. So I was raised in Southern California in the punk rock scene where there was a lot of tattoos with skaters and surfers, and it was pretty common. I got my first tattoo the day I turned 18, and it was a Christian fish on my ankle. And I don't know exactly when I developed this philosophy. I think it was pretty early on. But the thing I heard everyone saying, it's one of the most common things as well, aren't you going to regret it? Or I can never think of getting something that I won't like forever. And for me, that's the actual reason why I get tattoos, is because I know I am going to regret it and I want to regret it. It's actually a way of tracking my story and telling my story in an honest way.
And even showing growth. Like if you regret a tattoo, it actually probably shows that you've grown in your character, and which I think is great. I think that's good for people to grow.
A few like really one influential movie scene was, if you guys have seen American History X with Edward Norton, it's this movie about kind of these Nazi skinheads in Long Beach, California, and he goes to jail and he gets out of jail and he kind of reforms his ways, so he's like no longer a Nazi skinhead, but he has all these Nazi tattoos on his chest, and he walks onto this basketball court, and there's these black guys. And I was just thinking, like, man, who would you rather talk to? Some guy that's like, I'm okay with like black guys, like whatever, or some guy that's covered in Nazi tattoos but no longer believes in that. And I'd be like, I'd rather hear that story of that guy, because to me there's some sort of change there.
Yeah.
That like
it's really dynamic.
I want to hear about that change and what caused it. I think change is one of the most beautiful things we can be part of as humans. And like if you believe the same thing you believed when like 20 years ago, or your favorite piece of art is still your favorite piece of art, I mean, I'm not going to say that's like wrong, but I'm like, maybe there is something wrong if you haven't grown in 20 years so that you like see the world differently. So for me, I plan on regretting every single one of my tattoos. If by regret you mean I don't hold the same passion as I once held. But that doesn't mean I erase them, or I cover them up, or I hide them. It actually becomes a part of my story that I can look at and be like, wow, that's what I believed, and I don't anymore. So I just remember like thinking of these grandpas that are like what kind of grandpa do I want to be? Do I want to be the grandpa that looks like every other grandpa? That's like, as a kid, you see him and you're like, that guy's always been lame. Or, because grandpas, it looks like they've just always been old and they always just like have sat in wheelchairs or nursing homes or whatever. But they weren't. At one point, they're partying their brains out, just like every young person was. But you can't see it anymore. And I'm like, or do you want to be the grandpa that's covered in tattoos that looks like a sailor?
Dang. I'm pretty sure you didn't get those in the last 10 years.
And I'm like, I want to be that grandpa where the kids are like, Grandpa, what happened when you were younger? And I'll be like, sit down. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
So our kind of like, I guess, philosophy or theological belief over the years has been that our identity doesn't come from what we do, which means that we don't have to be ashamed of our past, even if it's something that we don't believe or wish we wouldn't have believed or has hurt people, that we can tell that story. And that's what a lot of our vlog is. What we try and do is not put our best foot forward or try and be a good example. I mean, a lot of vlogs are doing that. That's not our thing. But we just want to tell the story honestly. And we think that's the most powerful thing that we can do.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that in terms of tattoos.
Okay.
Okay, so Leah. Oh, and by the way, we have like every single tattoo of mine except like last 3 are in the old vlogs. Like, so
some of mine are too.
So I'm not going to go through the meaning of each and every one, but basically, since the age of 18, I've gotten a tattoo almost every year or two that just shows what's meaningful and on my mind in that time period of that year or two. So every year or two, it's kind of a discipline. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, but I just kind of go in. I'm not too picky. I mean, I like how they look, but like my biggest one here, I actually don't like how it looks. Okay, where were we? Nancy says running a half marathon without training this weekend. Kimmy's my inspiration. That's really funny.
That's cool. I bet you'll do great.
Okay, Leah says, curious about Ben's tat of the older man's face on his right arm. That's my grandpa's face. A lot of people think it's Truman. It's my grandpa's face, and I got it because our son that died as a stillbirth, we named after my grandpa, John Edward Crawford. So I got that as a memorial for both of them. I don't know what that means. Sarah says, I regret a tattoo, but I love it because it's a part of me. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
George says, not a tattoo fan myself, but appreciate good art.
Randy says, tats for me is a reminder of where I have been and where I'm going. My daughter and I both got our first tats together. Best day of my life.
That's cool. That's pretty similar to
Read the language you dream. I have 3 tattoos I've wanted about my spirituality, personal growth for years. One especially since the synagogue shooting in Pennsylvania in October, but I can't get over my fear of pain. Any advice?
It's temporary.
Yeah, it just feels like a bad bee sting. It keeps going on your. And you're like,
So
wait.
maybe she's afraid of bees. I mean, to me, like, you just got to decide if it's worth it to you. And if it is, if you call and make the appointment and you pay the money, as long as you don't back out.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I have something I don't want to do, but I think it's going to be worth it, I schedule things that make me have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that helps.
Okay. Julie, no, where? Oh, where do we go? Julia came to the live stream. Hi, that's awesome. Yes, I remember seeing one comment that Cami should get a white blaze on her tree. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Do you have any plans to get tattoos to commemorate your hike on the AT? No.
It's kind of funny to me because it wasn't like that big of a deal. I don't think it was a big deal.
It was a big deal, but not in that way.
Like it wasn't a big mental deal to me.
Yeah. David says it's a cool way to look at regret in general around the growth idea. Life frame, not tats, but do you feel a change in persona without long hair and beard? Okay.
Wait, where is that?
Up here. Up one.
Yeah, I do feel, I feel a little bit different because when I had the beard or when I've had long hair, it kind of takes on a life of its own and it makes me feel a certain way about myself. And sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Yeah, I do like change, so.
Okay. So Gypsy says tats remind us of memories, good and bad. That's true. Randy, what is the conversation with your kids when they want their first tats? I don't have a ton of energy around it. I would probably prefer them to be 18. I don't know why. Actually, I don't know why. Maybe whatever.
I don't care.
Yeah, they can go get them.
Like I would still talk to them.
Yeah, I would probably want to talk through it a little bit, but
I feel like by the time our kids wanted them, it'd almost be demeaning to be like, "Hey, do you know that's permanent?
Yeah.
Have you thought through that?" I mean, our kids know.
Okay. Heart family, the past is what you learn from. That's definitely true.
Dreadlock says, Ben, that is crazy, but I don't know what she's talking about because that could have been for something I said like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Where the heck are we?
Emger says, I just watched that video about your son. That's one of my favorite videos on our entire channel. And I made it
an old video. It's before we were vlogging.
5 years.
Yeah.
Well, when did he die?
He would have been, he would be 7 in August. So
that video, I made it on the 1-year anniversary. So that's 6 years old.
Okay. Aya, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Ben, you have a tattoo on your upper back, neck area, or 3 rings. Does it have a meaning or just a cool design?
At the time, it was kind of a cool design. It was kind of a symbol of the Trinity. It's called the Triquetra, and my brother and sister have matching ones on their back.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold is here.
I know. I just
saw that.
Arnold? Hey, Arnold.
Always been a rebel. Tats are so popular. To rebel is to not have one. That's right. Actually, there's something to that. Yeah, a lot. It is kind of funny how it can be, if you see someone like in a punk rock band that doesn't have tattoos, it's like almost the more punk rock thing. So I like that.
Yep. Emily, I think the only regret I have is the quality of my earlier tattoos. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the thing. Like sometimes people get like really shitty tattoos that just like look like crap. And I'm not a huge fan of like shitty art in general.
Yeah.
So I guess if I was to advise something, it'd be like to pay the money and find the place or the person that's not like so much a drunk Saturday night walk-in place. But, who am I to talk? Okay, how much time do we have? I'm getting over tattoos also. We're done with tattoos. We have 2 minutes and 22 seconds, but we're done. Okay, so we have some time, at least 8 minutes, and I'm willing to spend a few more if it works out well to just deal with some general Q&A. And tomorrow we're coming back to our regular vlogs. But this, before we start the Q&A, I just want to let you guys know, this is something that we're planning on doing every Thursday at this same time period.
8:30.
8:30 p.m. Eastern time for the next 4 weeks to try it out, just to see how it works.
Yep.
So, but tomorrow's vlog is exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Some of you guys have seen maybe on Instagram.
Yeah.
Some of you guys don't know, but it's our big first time returning back to the Appalachian Trail. And that's all I'm going to say. But there's a surprise in it.
And if you can't sleep tonight because you're so excited,
then just email us and we'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to be able to sleep.
Okay. Celine says, hi from England. I found your channel through your first marathon video. I had to wait until I was 18 to run my first one. Is there no age restriction in the USA?
Oh, there is.
There is.
We got a chance to get to know the race director for the marathon in Cincinnati. So she has specially allowed us to register the kids for it.
Dreadlock says, Ben, really like the recent entitlement video. Thank you. I've been surprised.
It's gotten a lot of positive comments.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that.
That's cool.
Allie says, is Cami growing her hair out? It looks long.
I am. I kind of miss doing this. Okay. So I don't know how long it'll last, but I am growing it out right now.
Richie says, how do you feel about one of your kids joining the military? I would love to hear your opinion on this. Okay. My honest opinion.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would be nicer to say like, oh, that'd be wonderful.
God bless him.
But my honest opinion is that'd be difficult for me, kind of a bummer. Not because I don't believe in it or anything like that. Just because that type of violence, although I know it's done under the banner of protection, is just kind of like hard for me. But ultimately, I think the thing I'd care about the most is why the kid's doing it, and I would support whatever they chose to do. Because I don't have a problem with people that are in the military. It's not something that excites me.
We have family members that have been in the military, and
your dad's a
colonel.
Something,
Yeah.
Hello 7788 says, are you happy that your channel is gaining viewers, or is it something that you don't want? Man, that's a really fascinating question.
It's complicated.
So complicated.
I would say I'm happy, but it changes things, and it makes things kind of more confusing too. So it's almost like, yeah, I'm happy, but you kind of mourn a bit the way things were less.
It's really mixed. Like, I don't know if you guys saw like our Michael Jackson video, or just saw that it exists, but it's got a ton of views, like compared to other vlogs, and a lot of likes, a lot of dislikes. And it just turned into this like battleground of like Michael Jackson's innocence. And like those views, like, I don't care about that. Like, I don't want to be in the middle of this controversial thing or be like, like, I kind of want to share my idea. Maybe
our point wasn't to say, oh, he's definitely guilty. Like, that wasn't our point.
Yeah. Or just get involved in some massive debate. So I do like starting conversations that I think are helpful and sharing our story. And it's not exciting to me, I guess, to have more views. Sometimes it's fun to watch like numbers go up, just like it was fun to play Tetris, but or solitaire, but it has about the same amount of meaning. So thanks for asking that. Eva says, have you heard of the Rainbow Gathering? Yes, but I've never been.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that. There's Burning Man is a little bit more interesting. They have like local Burning Mans, and that seems a little bit more accessible than the Rainbow Gathering for some reason.
Late Bird says, any interest in coming to Philly to do a talk about your vlogging and AT experience? Anything else at my bookshop? No.
Maybe.
That's nice.
That sounds fun. I think she contacted us before. I forget if I wrote it down here, but I think she left a comment about that, saying that she would help with that. Keep us in mind. Let us know as the time gets closer.
Yeah.
How do your kids homeschool? They don't really.
Yeah.
Whoa, things have skipped. Okay, we gotta cruise down here.
Where'd you go? Sorry, there's.
I just said
Okay.
George saying I could run the marathon with him in New York. With your religion, what are your thoughts on abortion? Oh, that's a fun one.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I don't want to answer that one. It's not time.
Yeah, that's hard.
Julie says, I didn't get here till almost 9. Did you answer why you moved to Kentucky? No, we didn't. But the simple answer was it was for a business startup that I was involved in. But we also had family that lived in the area too, so that made it a lot easier.
I'm probably not saying your name right, so sorry. Would you guys ever hike the AT again? Don't have any plans, but we're also not like against the idea.
Black Bear says, do you encourage the kids to get a job working for the man? No, but we'll support it, but I don't encourage it. That old biddy says, when Cammie wants personal space alone and you have planned something already, how do you find an easy way to let her have that time?
This is for you.
I guess, yeah. You don't ask for a lot of personal space alone. You've gotten better at it more recently.
Yeah. I more just disappear sometimes. But I'm gone. Where's Cammie? No.
Ooh, this is fun. This feels romantic. Nancy says, what are your favorite things about yourselves and each other? I can't answer the myself one right now. I can answer you, though.
Yeah. Go for it.
Cammie is... Do I talk to you or them?
I don't really care. Talk to them.
Okay. Cammie is like actually one of the smartest people I know, which was, we were joking about today. It's actually really surprising because when our first 10 years of marriage, I didn't think she was smart at all. She didn't think she herself was smart because there was like so much like fear, and she was so like kind of bound up and like trying to make people happy that neither of us really, we thought she was kind of dumb. But the last 10 years, as she's like grown and like kind of stepped out of a lot of this fear, it amazes me like how brilliant she is. I mean, the types of conversations we have, I like think, oh man, like if you died, I don't know who I'd have these conversations with. So that's like one thing. But I feel like her desire and drive for what I would consider meaning or God and love, and the gentleness that creates, to me, that's probably, I don't know. I think that's probably more valuable to me. That was when we got engaged. That was like the thing that I asked her. Like that was it. That was the most important thing to me at that time.
One of the things for me that I really like about Ben. Wait for it. No.
Here's my beard.
Dang. No. Is I think I've always been really attracted to how confident you are. But now I see it's matured a ton. That confidence to me has morphed into, I would say, courage. Like I see you talk on the vlog, and I know I talk on the vlog, and some people might say I'm courageous, which I'm not going to argue with that. Maybe I am, but I really have seen you, like, you'll just like talk about things that I would never dream to talk about, but you have this energy to do it. And I just think that's super valuable for the world. So
cool. That's kind of weird to hear this kind of stuff.
It is really funny. All right.
Okay.
That was the question of the email, I think.
Heart Family says, what about college? Did you both attend, and where and what? And do the kids have any ideas yet as to what they want to pursue? Cammie did college.
I got a nursing degree.
She won at that.
Used for a few days.
I did a year of college.
I won.
to study the Bible, and then it didn't like really work out very good.
The only kid so far that has said they're interested in college is Eden, possibly for interior design, but we don't know yet.
Aya says, would you guys be into going on a book tour once your book gets published? I think about that. I like the idea of that. I don't know how practical it is, especially
Can
since.
you imagine doing a book tour? I feel like that's for sophisticated people.
No, it's like
everyone does that nowadays.
It's not very romantic, I don't think. I think you drive in a van for like really long distances and speak to like 20 people at a time.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoa, why is
where are we?
Favorite Joe Rogan guest episode and favorite podcast? Feel free to plug yours. Joe Rogan guest. My favorite Joe Rogan guest episode was Dan Bilzerian.
It's Joe Rogan, the bald guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I do know who that is.
And my favorite podcast right now is probably, what do I got here? Well, it's probably, there's 2 or 3 that we listen to.
I really like the Liturgists. I've listened to a few of theirs.
I like the Bible for Normal People. Yeah. And I like Seth Godin's Akimbo podcast. Yeah. That's all I really can talk about right now. Do you want to get into it? You know what? I think we need to do a whole homeschooling one.
Yeah, we get that question a lot and a lot more recently. So we'll try to make a vlog about that.
Oh, wow. Brittany, do you have any advice for first-time parents? My husband and I are expecting.
Oh, wow.
Or rather, I should say I'm expecting our first.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's really exciting. Oh gosh.
Man.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, there's like no right way to do anything. And
you're gonna hear a ton of right ways to do stuff. And if I could say anything, it's just enjoy your kid. That's it. As much as you can.
Which is a really hard thing to tell people to do.
Sometimes, and then it's okay if you don't enjoy your kids sometimes. Yeah.
It's 9:35. I think we'll go for another 5 minutes at least. Matthew says, what are you currently reading? Where's my books? I'll show you what I'm reading.
I'll show you what I'm reading too. Wait, where are my books? Oh, crap. Okay, you show them yours while I find my books. Can we just leave?
Okay.
Oh, here.
I'm reading. The way I read is I read about this all got thrown out the window, but theoretically, it's like 5 minutes from each book a day. So it looks like I'm reading a lot, but I'm actually like not, So, okay, Everything Belongs by Richard Rohr. I like that. Traction, some sort of business book a friend just gave me this week. N.T. Wright book that's written by this guy named Derek, who watches our blog, who sent this to me, so thank you. I just got this and I haven't read it yet, so I can't recommend it or anything, but it sounded interesting. This book called Unconditional Parenting, I think we talked about this in our end of the year thingamajig. Mm-hmm. And this mindset is what's really influential in our no rules thing. So the subtitle is Moving from Rewards and Punishment to Love and Reason. This is like a boring writing book because I just finished the other boring writing book. Actually, it wasn't boring, but it was a book on writing. And I'm currently writing this out, parts of it. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Nakamati, I think.
Oh, yeah. But it has like the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Judas, and the Gospel of Thomas. And then I'm going to go back to writing.
Mm-hmm. So Ben's an overachiever. I only have 3 books. I'm almost done with Come As You Are.
But yours has the best cover.
The Surprising New Science That Will Transform Your Sex Life by Emily Nagoski. I just started reading this book, Shameless, A Sexual Reformation by Nadia Bolz-Weber.
Which I read that.
Yeah. And I love this book, Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This is an older book. I just realized it's been around for like 20 years. And it's a guide to spiritual enlightenment. So if you want something incredibly heavy, here you go. Okay.
Okay. Christy says, I struggle a lot with cursing. Grew up believing it, didn't go along with being a Bible and Christian. It's gotten really common. Oh crap!
Where'd you go? There she is. Okay.
Was this something you also thought about in the past? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Basically, like the religious world we grew up in, we had to just come to accept that it's like its own alternative culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a faith. I mean, there's a faith component as well, but it's also just this like group of people that has this types of food they eat, types of clothes that they wear, types of music they listen to, types of words that they say. And a lot of those things aren't actually spiritually based in what God wants or not, even according to the Bible. So it got really confusing for us because I think we had a strong desire to really separate those things.
Yeah. It was more to try to fit into a culture. But I actually think I believe that God didn't want me to swear, but I don't believe that anymore. Okay.
All these people are saying I said nice things to you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Black Bear says, is not having rules more about non-aggression principles? I think that's a huge, that's huge, yeah, that's a huge component. Yeah. And it's also dealing with the balance of external versus internal motivations within the kids. And what we've noticed is that as long as there's external motivators, it's hard for them to really change the internal motivators. Mm-hmm. And we'd really like to see them mature their internal motivators. Oh, look, this person says the drama of the gifted child changed my life.
Oh, wow.
Try English is hilarious. Okay, so this other person, I feel like I have to answer this. Is it Dreadlock? She says, are you watching any 2019 AT vloggers? Any early favorites? You know, no. I've never watched any AT vloggers. Honestly, I can't really stand the videos because I don't really care about the AT. I mean, that sounds weird, but I don't really care about the AT. And that's one of the things that we tried really hard to do with our vlogs on the AT was, like, we wanted to show the AT, but it was more about our family than the AT.
Hold up. You care about the AT, but not enough to watch people's shitty vlogs.
I don't want to call their vlogs shitty. Okay, they're just like,
not everyone. No, I'm
because they are what they are. But they're people that watch them are like really into the AT. I found out.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, just point and shoot, which isn't. Sorry, I shouldn't have said shitty, but it's just.
No, it's not about even being point and shoot. It's about being highly descriptive about the environment, and the environment of the AT. Is not.
And you're like, okay, after seeing that leaf for the second time, you've lost me.
Well, I have this beef. I've thought about making this video to just. I don't know how to make it and not sound like an ass. To help people with their titles, because people talk about not liking clickbaity titles, but I'm like, Christ, like it's like day 62, Smoky Mountain Shelter to Domino City, and it's like that's the best you can come with for title.
Or it's just like
I should
day
not.
13.
I should not be ranting right now.
Okay, anyways, moving right along.
Okay.
Do we pray? Sarah asking. I suspect it's not glamorous to vlog praying, but do you guys pray?
We pray before our meals, and we have this little thing here. I'll show you there. Do you see those papers up there? Well, I just put the camera in the candle. That is one prayer, and then this thing is so weird. That thing over there is another. And we say that before meals, and then besides that, no, not really. I do like a meditation thing where I write out passages of the Bible in the morning that helps me. And I'm kind of more into prayer as like presence right now. So
yeah,
as opposed to saying words.
I would say the same about myself.
Okay. I think it's time to wrap it up. Fine. So this is what I want to, 3 minutes. Let's talk about this. I want to hear, how is this format for you guys? Do you love it? Do you tolerate it? Is it so much better than our vlogs, or is it just different? Or like, what is it like? Because I'm trying to think whether we should be investing more. Because honestly, one thing that's really nice about it is we record for 1 hour and then we're done. There's like no editing or nothing. It's just there. And that's really cool. So I'm anxious to hear, George is preaching at me again. Okay, excellent format. I was confused about your reading Facebook. Yeah, so I asked on Facebook because YouTube has a crappy interface with like comments. I asked on Facebook today, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? And that was how I got that.
So Richie's, okay. Hello, 778. I was confused about you reading to messages while on here. Yeah, that is kind of. Julie says, I love this format. I really feel like we see the real you, as cliche as it sounds. Jana, love watching your vlogs. Not only entertained, but I'm learning about creating a life-giving family.
Heather Q says, my kids are projectile vomiting.
And I made time for the live, but I'm a year behind on the vlogs. Yeah.
I feel like you, the viewers, and you guys can connect and communicate in real time. Yeah, I do. I just feel like the communication sucks because there's so many comments and I wish I could read all of them. And I can't tell which ones to respond to. And I wish I could even see, like it was a video chat and see people's faces, but
yeah,
I guess it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Oh, we just went up.
Richie says, I love the live streams. I think it's a good way to communicate with the community. Your vlogs have created. Star Scream Live says she likes
prefer the vlogs, but this is a nice alternative.
Okay. Yeah. It's about what I expected.
Heather Hughes doing cleanup on aisle 10. A lot. Thanks, Heather.
Oh, Joe, great format. Builds intimacy with the fans, but it wouldn't be great without the vlogs. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. We got podcast war going on down there. Okay. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Tomorrow's vlog is going to be, it's a fun one, I think.
Yeah.
Back to normal. And then this next Thursday, hopefully we'll see you. I'll try not to screw up the thing starting off.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us on this Thursday evening. I hope all you guys have a good night back with your families. Baby mama says bye.
Oh, bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. You're welcome, Julie Wolf. Click in, otherwise we're going to keep on reading.